There we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here over lunch today and spending some time talking about your pilot and mini grant farm to preschool efforts. We're glad you're here. Elena, if I could ask you to go to the next slide. We want to make sure that everyone knows that this training is funded in part by the USDA Supplemental and Nutrition Assistance Program. This institution is an equal opportunity provider and funds about half of our program's expenses in the obesity, nutrition, and physical activity program. Next slide, please. So once again, we're recording this. So we're recording this training so you can watch it afterward, and we'll send the link out once the training is finished. If you haven't entered your name and your center name yet in the chat, please do so we can make sure you receive a CEU. Again, this training is for both our pilot farm to preschool programs and our mini grantees. We're recording this, like I said, so we'll share the recording afterward. And then we can talk a little bit about the agenda. So thank you for being here. We're really happy you're here today. This is basically the agenda, welcome and introductions. And we'll do that in a second, but I want to go through the agenda. We're going to have a round table for the first part of this meeting today to talk about implementing farm to preschool during the summer, to troubleshoot any reimbursement problems, barriers, or to answer reimbursement questions, and to talk about your action planner and provide some support during our time today for completing and submitting your action planners. The American Friends Service Committee, Saira Namaste and Angelina Lopez will be with us during the second half of our training today to do a demonstration on the healthy eating with locally grown produce curriculum lesson they've shared. And they've done a really good job, so we're excited to see that. And then we'll talk a little bit more about the farm to preschool nutrition education curriculum. So my name is Rita Condon. I am the manager of the Obesity, Nutrition, and Physical Activity program in the New Mexico Department of Health. We have a whole farm to preschool team here. We're learning more about you. Thank you for putting your names and your center names in the chat. Please do that if you haven't. And I'll pass it along to Elena Paisano to introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Elena Paisano. I'm working with Rita and her team on Farm to Preschool and also NM Grown, which is the local procurement part of our Farm to Preschool programming. So excited to see you today.
Thanks, Elena. Pam, can I ask you to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. It's good to see you all again, and thank you for attending all of our trainings and getting ready to maybe plant your gardens and learn how to use that produce maybe in some nutrition ed activities. So I'm with Family Nutrition Bureau, as you know, nutrition manager under the Early Child and Education Care Department. So great to see you.
Thank you, Pam. Alberto.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Alberto Zavala, coordinator of Healthy Kids, Healthy Preschool in Southern New Mexico.
Thank you, Alberto. Corey?
Hi, everyone. My name is Corey Vandergeest. I'm here with the Farm to Preschool team, and I do a lot of the evaluation reporting. So if you ever have any questions about that, I'm the person to contact. Good to see you all today.
Thank you, Corey. Catherine?
Hi, everyone. This is Catherine Von Ruden. I'm also with Rita's team, the Farm to Preschool team. Glad to be here.
And then for some of our Healthy Kids, Healthy Community, or some of our farm to preschool pilot sites, we have support from another arm of our program called Healthy Kids, Healthy Communities. And we have a few of those coordinators attending this training today. So if I could ask Paula and Becky to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Paula Camp and Becky Joyce. We're Healthy Kids, Travis County.
Thank you, Paula and Becky. Cheyenne?
Oh,
Hi, everybody. Cheyenne Cortez, and I am Healthy Kids, Healthy Communities for Socorro County.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Patience?
Hi, I'm Patience Williams. I'm the Healthy Kids Healthy Coordinator for San Juan County.
Thank you, Patience. And Karen?
Hello, I'm Karen Powers. I'm Healthy Kids, Healthy Communities for Roosevelt County.
Thank you, Karen. So I just want everyone to have those faces so that if those are your counties, that you know that you have support in your communities for helping implement farm to preschool. And for future generations, it looks like Mitch Gray is not on the call yet, but as soon as he is, we'll make sure he introduces himself. And I noticed Victoria from San Ildefonso has also jumped on. Victoria, can you introduce yourself real quick, please?
Hi, everybody. I'm Victoria Martinez, and I'm the Healthy Kids, Healthy Community Coordinator for San Ildefonso Pueblo.
Thank you, Victoria. Okay, so next slide, please, Elena. So this is going to start the center roundtable. And next slide, please. And just quickly, I want to do a quick pitch to all of you before we get deep into the roundtable to remember that the NM Grown RFA has been released, so it is due tomorrow. So if you haven't applied for the New Mexico Grown funding from ECECD, please let us know if you want the application so that Pam can send it to you. This is funding that's extra outside the funding you receive for your mini grant program or your pilot program to buy local produce, New Mexico grown produce and products for meals and snacks. And the other thing is that our Golden Chili Award is application is going to be released next Monday. We'll mention that again before the end of this training, but we want to have that, bug in your ear a little bit so you remember next Monday that that application is going to be released. And we want to recognize you publicly with everyone else that's doing great work around increasing healthy food access and healthy environments for our kids in a ceremony in September. So the questions we want to ask you today start out with you sharing with us. So I'm going to ask you, if you can't put on, take off if you don't have your camera, or if we can't see you, to let us see you and to share. This part of the training is for you. So, and it's to help us help you think and plan for farm to preschool for the rest of our time together. So is your center year-round, or do you follow the school calendar? We need this information to help you, because if you're year-round, then you can proceed apace. But if you follow the school calendar, we need to talk about, how you're going to implement farm to preschool during the summer and what plans you've made. So I'm going to quit talking and ask you guys to start sharing that out. Okay, so I see Michelle says New Beginnings is year-round minus the holidays. Okay. So this is Future Generations. Thank you. You are year-round, no breaks besides major holidays. Okay. Anyone else? You can take yourself off mute and just say too. Year-round. So Barbara, do you have holidays off? Probably, right?
Hello. As for Bumblebee Silent Park, we are year round with our center based. So our pre-K class does follow the school calendar, but either way, most of those students are enrolled in our daycare. So they stay the whole year. We do have breaks like everybody's saying the holidays, but it's more like major holidays and we close for like 1 day or so.
Thank you, Bernice, for sharing that. So basically you have access to those children year round. Okay. So I saw Socorro say that you follow the school calendar. So Whitney, when is the last day of where the students will be on site?
Sorry, I have to talk very low today. I'm subbing, so the babies are sleeping.
Okay, thank you.
But this year we end in June, but our normal year is we're done in May before public schools. This year doesn't count, it's a weird year, but we normally start in August and we end before public schools do in May.
Okay, so this year, when do you end?
The last day is June 29th. But next year goes back to normal.
Okay, so will there be staff working through June 29th then, right? Okay.
Yes.
And will they be working past June 29th, any of the staff?
Only like 3.
Okay.
Everyone else has the month of July off.
Okay. And then when do the kids come back?
Second or third week of August.
Got it. Thank you. So that's really helpful information, Whitney. Thank you very much. Those are the things that can help us help you plan, including how to take care of things like gardens over the summer.
Can I jump on there, Rita?
Yeah, Elizabeth, thank you.
So for our county, Head Start leaves for the summer, but early Head Start stays open. So for us, the Head Start staff, their last day is going to be the last day of May.
Okay.
And then early Head Start will stay on until the last Friday of July.
Okay, so for you, Elizabeth, is there, because you're part of the not early Head Start, right? Regular Head Start.
I work both. I'm a so I'll be here no matter what.
And then when do the students come back?
I believe for us it's going to be the 15th, 16th, something like that of August.
Okay, great. That's really helpful to know. So how, these are the kinds of things we want to think about for implementing farm to preschool with that summer break coming up, especially for those of you who aren't year round, future generations. Barbara, your shop, Sunland Park, you're going to end up being all year round, but some of you aren't. It's a time to think about planning for the fall. So menus, activities, farmer connections, purchasing materials, how to take care of the garden, or programming over the summer. So do any of you have anything you want to talk about with regards to that? Like, what have you been thinking about or doing? Don't be shy. If you haven't been doing anything, it's okay, but we're here to learn from each other, and we're here to learn how to best support you. So understanding what your plans are going to be helpful for all of us.
I'm hopping in here real quick, Rita. Did we hear from Alexandra over in Family Resource Center in Deming?
Yeah.
No, I was gonna just speak up.
Perfect. Good timing.
So for us, it's kind of like the other center, Head Start and pre-K end in the summer. and early Head Starts all year round. But this year we are having a summer program. So we will be here. We'll have like a week where there's no kids, or 2 or 3 weeks where there's no kids, but staff will be here. So there's always going to be someone here.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for sharing that with us. Anybody else in the group that wants to share or can share about your plans or your, seems like we've heard from everybody, right?
I think we've heard from all of the pilot centers, and then our mini grantees, we heard from Michelle over at New Beginnings. Mini grantees, feel free to also throw in, your schedule during the summer in the chat, just so we have a sense of what this looks like for you guys, because you guys have to spend on your money during the summer too.
So this is Michelle over at New Beginnings. So our childcare center goes from newborn to 5, and then we have an after-school program that we're extending, an even bigger program for the summer for 5 to 18-year-olds. And so we're doing a community garden, and then we are implementing a cultural food program where they bring food recipes, parent involvement from whatever their culture is, and then they do a lesson about it.
Wow, that's excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Michelle.
Yeah, no problem. We're super excited. That was like the one thing that the parents actually wanted to do, was a cultural food activity. So that was actually the family engagement parent idea. So.
Can I ask you, Michelle, to make sure to take pictures of that and share what you did with us? I mean, those are the kinds of things that we can share with, with potential funders to apply for and maybe get more funding to continue to support these kinds of activities among our preschool statewide. So
I can take photos, but faces will have to be edited out because our daycare center is on our transitional facility for domestic violence survivors.
Okay,
all of 90% of the kids that attend our daycare are victims of domestic violence. So I have to protect identities. So I can take pictures, but we usually edit over their faces with like a smiley face or like a clip art of some kind. So I can get those pictures to you, but it will be edited faces.
Yeah, and that's completely fine. Thank you for telling us that. We understand that there are limitations, and even if we just got pictures of your spread or what the cultural activity is, or the community garden, what it looks like, that's also things that we can share and that we can, talk about as well.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
No problem.
Anyone else want to share about that? Summertime activities. I'm going to hand it over here to Elena in a second. But I also want to say that this conversation is going to be a little bit about reimbursement. We want you to spend your money. You do not have to wait until you're doing a particular thing to start spending it down. Like if you don't plan to start a garden until the new year begins, you can still be working on buying the materials. We have the purchasing lists that have all the ideas for what to buy for the garden. You can start doing that now. Remember to save your receipts and your invoices. You'll need to submit those to Pam over at ECECD to be reimbursed, but we'd like you to start spending the money now. There's no reason not to do that. There's money to buy nutrition education materials if you need like a blender or something to do more with doing nutrition or education around local procurement. We want you guys to start spending the money now instead of waiting until you're doing a particular activity. As long as it's in your action plan, then we know what's going on. So Elena, can I hand it over to you now?
Sure.
I want to honor our time.
Yeah, exactly. So, this pretty much kind of just sums up what Rita was discussing, but we thought it might be helpful just to give you guys some ideas for things you can be doing over the summer, knowing that staff capacity is limited. Sounds like a lot of you, are year round, so that's great. We will be continuing to provide training. Our next training will be on the family engagement toolkit. So you'll be receiving a toolkit you can implement this summer. But when it comes to, New Mexico Grown, for instance, There will be product available over the summer, right? And so we'll help you connect to that. But also it's a good time to plan for the fall because the majority of product starts coming in August in a lot of our regions. And so it's a good time to look at your menus, right? See what you can sub in, identify and contact farmers using the approved supplier list. And then also to connect with schools. We'll be helping you all with that and doing some events that help connect you with school buyers, as well as those Healthy Kids coordinators. They're your resources to help you connect with others so you can come up with a little bit of a purchasing plan so that when all the crops are ready, you're ready to buy and maybe even have some relationships set up. For nutrition education, we are providing various curricula today. AFSC will share with you. And you guys also are already doing some things. So you can maybe demo a few new activities you're considering. As Rita said, purchase those supplies. No reason not to do it now. And then you can start training your staff and making sure everybody's aware of what's going to happen. For the gardens, this is a good time to talk to your maintenance folks. If it is not you or one of your teachers, make sure they know your plans for the garden. Have those meetings. We have heard, many times a lesson we've learned from schools and working with them is this is a critical communication to make sure the water stays on when you need it later at night. In the summer, it's too hot to water during the day. And to make sure that no chemicals get applied anywhere near your garden, right? That might inhibit production or make it unsafe. Those are things we've heard of, like gardens getting wiped out for those reasons during the summer. It's also a good time to work on designing and building. If you haven't started your garden, you can build it now and then plant some cool weather crops if you're down south, or you can get some warm weather starts still in. It is not too late. And the last thing I want to emphasize there is you can plan for lessons, right? When the kids do come back and you maybe have a little more capacity, how you're going to get them out in the garden. Similarly, for family engagement, as I said, we'll do a training. So we'll have some activities to share with you. We'll share with you the toolkit supply list. But I also would encourage you to think about how you're going to celebrate harvest with your families. There's going to be plenty of funding for y'all to do something around that. The cultural foods program that was described is such a beautiful way of looking at that too. And so, start getting those gears in motion for when the families are back in so that you can notify them, because right, everybody is busy in September. It's just like the craziest month for everyone universally, but it's a good time to celebrate and be together too. So I think the last thing I want to emphasize is, kind of the flow here. So again, a lot of your purchasing is probably going to start in August and take you through the duration of our program in terms of food. But now is a good time to gear up and do all that purchasing for supplies and infrastructure. And I'm actually going to move to this next slide. Those allowable purchases. So materials and then equipment, as Rita said, if there's something you're going to need for food prep or nutrition lessons, or for your garden, maybe you need a nice new rain head to do some good watering out in the garden. Do that now and consider that now. And then materials, like I said, we'll give you toolkit information. We'll also be sharing with you curricula, so you can really look through it at the supply list. Make sure you have everything you'll need on hand. And I'm going to pass it over back to Rita. We'll kind of tag team on this, but as Rita said, we want to make sure that you feel comfortable starting your purchasing, and that if there's questions about it, you can come to us. So Rita, I'm going to ask you, could you do a quick overview of what that procedure looks like? I'm getting the information to ECECD, and then also remind you that you have tools in your online workbook. So there's the expense trackers, there's for food, and then for other supplies on the other tabs. Invoice requirements, we'll just go over that again real quick when we go over the procedure, but I'll hand it to you, Rita.
Okay, yeah, and Pam, actually, I'd like to ask you to help with the procedural part of it because ECECD does the reimbursement. But first I want to ask a question. Who submitted invoices or receipts to ECECD? Please unmute yourself and let us know for reimbursement for any farm to preschool expenses, please.
This is Michelle from New Beginnings again. I'm not sure if we have Red Dawn. George is the site supervisor and she's not able to attend this training, so I'm stepping in for her. So I am going to assume that she has. I'm just not 100%. Thanks,
Michelle. Anyone else? Like Whitney, I heard you were, you're busy with kids, never mind. Anyone else in the room have submitted invoices or receipts to Pam at ECECD yet? Please unmute yourself and share with the group. Okay, sounds like no one has. All right, so now's the time to begin spending your money and completing the expense tracker. If you look at your expense tracker in your workbook, there's a page, a tab with a page for local procurement and a tab for non-food items related to farm to preschool. So we have to track our purchases in there, save your receipts and your invoices, and send scans of those to Pam at ECCD. She will review them. You know, she looks for the purchases, she looks through all the receipts, looks through the invoices, makes sure all the information is there, sends it to her financial team, and they review it again, and then they will go through the reimbursement process. Invoices and receipts have to be turned in by the 15th of the month, and you'll receive payment within 30 days. Procedurally, Pam, can you follow up on that?
Yes, so we have received a couple of invoices for reimbursement. And so you would send them to me, and then I would just go ahead and look at your receipt, cross check it with your spreadsheet to make sure you've got everything on there for reimbursement and that everything is good to go for reimbursement. I okay it on the spreadsheet and I send it to Lapita, and she's the one, our financial manager, that does all of the CACFP meal reimbursements. So she also will reimburse you, put that money back, put that money into your account, the same account that you'll get reimbursed for your meals. She'll put a little memo though on it so you know exactly, or your financial person knows exactly what the reimbursement's for. And so I just saw a reimbursement for Salsa Garden, if you will, from New Mexico Midwest CAP. They were going to get some cherry tomatoes and some onions, cilantro, and get some little shovels and dirt and start the garden. So that's good. So don't expect an immediate 2-week turnaround. Lapita has to, those meal reimbursements are priority for her, but expect it within the month that, 2 cycles of our EPICS calendar. So, so just go ahead and email me those, and it's a real simple process. If you're under a sponsor per se, such as down in Deming, the Family Resource Center, we will send it to your sponsor, CPLC, and she will put a memo that it's specifically for your center. And then she'll go ahead and give that reimbursement to you. So that's how it is. So very simple. And so if you've got any questions, please just email me at pam.mitchell@state.nm.us. I'll put it in the chat. If you have any questions or concerns about reimbursement, that sort of thing. So you do buy your soil and things, local foods first, and then get reimbursed for it. And so you know your dollar amount, so you can spend up to that.
Thank you so much for that, Pam. Thank you for the explanation. We're going to hand it over to Saira from the American Friends Service Committee, but just real quick, if you have questions about buying things or how to buy them or anything like that, or you're running into any kind of barriers, please reach out to us and we will take the time to help you. We want to just make sure that you're spending your money and you're getting the help you need to do the programming. So thank you very much for your attention, and we're going to turn it over to Saira now.
Rita, I see a question on the chat.
Okay, thank you. Okay, someone has a question. Ashley and Kate, you have a question about the budget?
Yes, I have a question. So because we already had an established garden with raised beds, we bought a few items, but we obviously are not going to need $4,000 to get our garden up and running this year. Are we able to move that money and purchase additional New Mexico grown foods with it? Or is it you use it or you lose it? Like if we didn't need 4,000 towards our garden?
You know, let's have a conversation afterward. I feel like we have some flexibility about transferring budget items, but I want to make sure that these are case by case. So Ashley, you and Kate and I can meet over the phone after the training's over, okay? Thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to hand it over to our guests. Angelina, I think you should be able to screen share. And I just want to kind of cue up that if y'all remember or attended the Nutrition Education Part 1 training, we shared with you a few different options that are already out there, New Mexico-based curricula. And some of what they're going to share with you today is a follow-up on that, a little deeper dive into what their program has developed and some of the lessons that they've learned working with centers around the state now for quite a few years. So wanted to offer some time to really get into it. We will also share with you guys other curricula examples, but thank you guys from AFSC for being here with us today. Hopefully you can do what you need with tech. Let me know if you need any help.
Okay, thanks so much for inviting us. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Saida, and I'm with the American Friends Service Committee. And sorry you can't see me. I'm having video issues. Angelina, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Angelina Lopez Brody, and I work with Saida on AFSC's From to ECE program.
And we have some pictures that we wanted to show you, and we're going to have a lot of fun just actually doing some of the activities that we've created with you. So I don't know if you have to go to view options to see Angelina's screen, but that's how I had to do it. But hopefully what you're seeing right now is our slogan, kids win when farmers and schools work together. So hopefully everyone can see that. And I'm just going to give a little context, and then Angelina is going to actually have us get to do some of the activities that you could possibly do with your kids. So if we could go to the next slide. Just a little background on who we are. We're over 100-year-old nonprofit organization, and we have offices around the world. And our name actually comes from the Friends, the Quakers. So Quakers often call themselves Friends. And our vision in New Mexico, started here in the 70s, was to have communities that are self-determined and can feed and care for our children, our elders, and our neighbors that are human, animal, and plant. I'm really thinking about those affected by the wildfire today. And a little bit about like how we do our Farm to ECE. We know that getting healthy food to young children is really important for preventing disease. And I'm sure you've seen with your kids, they sometimes resist eating healthy food. And so our focus and our work is on ECEs that serve low-income children. So we work a lot with the Head Starts. We're actually working with 90% of the Head Starts in Albuquerque and northern New Mexico. And we know that these kids probably don't have access to organic, local, healthy food because of their income levels. And we also focus on farmers. So we do a lot of work with farmers. That's kind of the angle that we come from in our work. So we're working with 30 small scale sustainable farms. And again, they're based in Albuquerque and northern New Mexico is where our reach is. And then we raise the money to pay the farmers a fair price. And actually in our program, we give the food for free to the ECEs. And you'll see at the end, we'll give you a link to all the activities that we provide, and those are all free for you to download or we can mail to you. And just to explain like kind of the foundation of how we started this work in 2017, we met with farmers and we met with ECE staff. We wanted it to be totally directed by the people on the ground. We're so grateful for you ECE teachers and staff that you're frontline workers. And I know you've just gotten through this 2-year pandemic as well. And so we talked with farmers and teachers and cooks about what their needs were and logistics. It was kind of fun to eavesdrop just now, like hearing you all talk about like, how long is your school year? And like, when will food be available? Those are all conversations we've had over the years. What we heard from ECE is that it's helpful to get vegetables that don't require a lot of prep. Of course, they have to be kid safe, so they can't be like a choking hazard, and kid friendly. So, we're not going to provide arugula, even if farmers are saying we have arugula. We know that 3-year-olds are probably not going to want to try that. we looked at like what farmers had during their growing season. So in New Mexico, you can grow year round if you have the right infrastructure, but still means that certain foods are available at certain times. And we looked at the calendars that ECEs have, just like y'all were doing, look at your schedule and look at the farming season. And we just continue to meet with, every year we meet with the farmers, usually around March is when we meet, and we plan out what crops they're gonna have for the early childhood centers. We'll go to the next slide. And we had a lot of trial and error in the last 5 years. So some great things we found out was for a small scale farmer, ECEs are such a good fit. And we have a farm to school program as well. And when we're talking about like Albuquerque public schools with 80,000 students, that can be pretty hard for a small scale farmer. But an early childhood center can be just such a great fit for a family farm. Farmers really appreciate having less paperwork or bureaucracy because their sales are pretty small for ECEs. And so that was really important to them. For the ECE staff, we create healthy food activities to go with the food. And we found from the staff that that was really helpful so that we're not just giving you food and like, you'll have to come up with something. We'll show you today a lot of our activities we're gonna do virtually with you, and you can download those guides. We'll give you the link at the end. Of course, we had to line up the school schedules and the farmer seasons. Initially, when we tried to get early childhood centers just to buy every week from local farms, that was a lot harder to make that fit. By having face-to-face contact with early childhood staff, while we delivered produce, we actually delivered it ourselves just to get good feedback on what was happening. And one of our barriers definitely was price point. I don't know if you're going to find that, but I'm happy to see that there is some subsidies at the state level. So here's our 4 healthy food campaigns that we developed. And we did this because we just found like if when we originally started providing local food to ECEs and just saying, hey, let's see if you can get kids to eat local vegetables, it didn't work so well. And so by making it a healthy food campaign, that is what works. So we're going to explain how that is. But here's the 4. We're actually just, we've got the Great Carrot Crunch. You can see that little rabbit on the left eating a carrot. We've got the Terrific Turnip Tasting, which is another rabbit eating a turnip. The Cherry Tomato Chomp is a little squirrel. I think that's a squirrel. And then the Give Peas a Chance is a chipmunk. Yeah, I see the little nice, thank you for the comment that it's great graphic design. This is a local Quaker who created these. And we tried to think about what would appeal to children, and we avoided doing people and just focusing on little animals eating it. And that's been a big hit. So the next slide, and we're actually in the middle of our Give Peas a Chance campaign. I started yesterday. The first school to do it was in Santo Domingo Pueblo. And when I heard you all talking about taking photos, one little thing I have found, now these parents gave permission of these kids doing the photos, but yesterday I just took photos of the kids' hands doing the activities. And they were so excited that I was taking pictures of their drawings. And so they would like hold it up. And so you just see their little hands holding it and there's no faces. And that's one way you can get around like taking pictures of faces. But in the elements of our healthy food campaign, what we want to do is get kids excited about eating vegetables, which can be tough, but I think we've gotten really good feedback. In fact, we have almost 100% rate of people wanting to come back and do it again because they have such a great response from the kids. So we make it exciting. We give out posters ahead of time. So they hang up around the school saying, you know, like the Cherry Tomato Chomp is coming. So we give that in advance. Part of what really motivates the kids to try the vegetable is they get a sticker if they eat the vegetable. And so these little images of the animals, those are stickers. So you can't get the sticker unless you try the vegetable. And that is such a motivator. And then we have an activities package, and Angelina is going to show you like all the different types of activities from like coloring to movement activities and songs. And we also do social media. So if schools have permission and are willing to share pictures, we like post those out. So you can see all the schools around the state doing the work with us for these healthy food campaigns. The next slide. This is a picture of Head Start in Albuquerque, and it was Carrot Day. So like we really build up for like, say, the Great Carrot Crunch. And so everybody knows, the parents know. So at this school, the parents sent the kids to school wearing orange because they knew it was going to be the Great Carrot Crunch Day. The teacher had the kids planting carrot seeds. And actually, one of the parents took the logo of the Great Carrot Crunch and made shirts for all the kids with the logo on it. Like she ironed it on. That's how into it she was, which is so awesome. And then when the kids go home, they have that little sticker on their shirt. So some of the kids yesterday at Santo Domingo were talking about being able to go home and tell their mom that they ate a pea. And what was great yesterday was all the kids asked for seconds for the peas that I brought. And this is like also helping these small farmers, just to be sustainable, to have this market. So it's nice to bring locally grown. Of course, they taste better and they're fresher and they're sweet. And some of the kids like opened up the peas and pulled the little peas out and ate those and didn't want to eat the shell. So it's different for each kid, but they all ate them and they liked it. And there was just like this excitement over being part of the Give Peas a Chance campaign. Next slide. So here's some feedback that we've gotten. We had a Head Start teacher tell us we have students who have never eaten a carrot before until the Great Carrot Crunch. And then they were like, yay, and they wanted the sticker. All the other kids, there was like some peer pressure. There was all these activities about carrots. And so that built them up to like wanting to eat it. Students learned that carrots grow in the ground. The ones they ate today are fresh compared to the ones from the grocery store. They thought they tasted better than the ones we usually have for lunch. And the children love eating the carrots. And there was a lot of discussions about the carrot stems. So we try to give carrots that still have the greens attached to it. And the kids call them Bugs Bunny carrots. And that's really neat that they get to see like what a carrot looks like, not a baby carrot that's been peeled and cut and like shaped the way that you see in the store. And some of our classrooms have like a pet hamster or a pet rabbit or something like that. And they give the greens to the pet. So the teachers are like, please make sure you give us carrots with greens. And it does give them a better idea of like how the carrot grows. We also have some funny stories. Like we've given carrots that carrots don't just come in orange. So we have like orange, yellow, purple. We had one school that said, please don't ever give us purple carrots again. The kids were all fighting over the purple carrots and there wasn't enough. And then another school said, we're so sad you didn't give us any purple carrots because we want to show kids that there's other colors. And so, it just depends. The feedback is always a mix. Next slide. So I'm going to turn it over to Angelina to show you what our activity guides look like, and then we'll get to practice some.
So this is an example of an activity guide. As Citus said, we provide these for each school. And a lot of teachers have told us that they'll actually spend a whole day on the vegetable and they make it a big event, it's just awesome. And a lot of the Head Starts have to do a nutrition activity every month anyway. And so this kind of slides right into that. And so I'm going to just go and talk about different kinds of activities that we've done. And as Saida mentioned, all of these are available free, and we'll share the link with you at the end. So we really try and meet the kids where they're at and provide different activities that are going to help them in their development. So for example, this is a finger play. I'll demonstrate for you. 5 tiny peas in a pea pod pressed. 1 grew, 2 grew, and so did all the rest. They grew and they grew and they did not stop until one day the pod went pop. And as you work with small children, I'm sure you have a lot of finger plays. They help with vocabulary, they help them hear language and rhythm, they memorize it. They can, they use their fingers and they figure out how to do it. And it's just a lot of fun. I have some young children myself, and we definitely do these a lot. A new thing for this year's Give Peas a Chance is that we're providing pinto beans to plant. We gotten a lot of feedback that they want lots of hands-on activities. So we're really excited to provide local pinto beans, some soil, and little compostable pots. One thing I really want to highlight, in addition to the science learning that's going on, is that caring for a living thing can be really good for mental health. And I've gotten to go to several webinars about how gardening can be so positive for mental health. And like I find myself, like I got out in my garden a couple of weeks ago and I was like, oh, I feel better. And it's the same for the kids. We know y'all are working on one-to-one correspondence. So although dittos are not always ideal, it is good to practice counting and recognizing numbers. So you'll find those in our activity packs. This is an example of a movement activity for gross motor skills. So it kind of takes the kids, they pretend they're seeds during the winter, and the teacher can read this script to them and they grow into a flower or vegetable, whatever it is that they become. having worked with young children before, I know that the more you can get them up and moving, the easier it is for everyone. We also got feedback that they just wanted coloring sheets. So we were able to include the letter for letter recognition. And, you know, depending on the color of the vegetable, the kids, there were green tomatoes and purple tomatoes and red tomatoes. So it's fun for the kids to get some creativity. Another feedback that we got from a teacher is they wanted a rebus. And they also wanted farmers to come and visit the classrooms. So because of COVID, we haven't been able to expand in that direction. But one of our farmers, Fidel Gonzalez, agreed to work with us on this. So, you know, depending on the age level of your kids, this can be appropriate. They can read the picture, they can read the pictures, and it gets the idea that, you know, when you're reading, each word means something. Teachers have also requested videos. So we've done some research and found good videos. And it really helps visual and auditory learners. There's read alouds, and of course there's books that you can just check out from the library. Read in person, pretty old school, but there's also farm to school videos that are available. And there's also some really awesome time-lapse videos of seeds growing. So if you don't have time to plant a seed in your classroom, you can talk about how the root grows. And there's just, YouTube can be a really good resource for these things. And you know, I mean, I know with my kids, they're like, oh, it's a video, I want to watch it. So there's a little bit of automatic buy-in that helps. All right, so now we're going to try a few activities ourselves. So I'm going to put this link in the chat and you guys will get to try it yourselves. Sorry. So you can go ahead and click on the link in the chat and that will open up a window for you. And you are going to find your board, and it depends on what your first name is. So I'm going to share, I'm going to create a new share so you can get the lay of the land, and then you guys can just go for it.
It is saying, at least for me, that we need access, and I think that might be common.
You need access?
Yes, I got the same thing.
I did too.
Oh no. Okay, let me try and do that real quick. Let's see. Okay. Thank you for giving me feedback. Okay, try that again. Let's see if that works. No. Okay. Well, I'll just show you what we were going to do. I apologize. That is strange. Okay. I didn't hear what you said.
Angelina, if you want, I think if you go back into settings where that you copied that link, there's a little, let's see.
Oh, I see private.
Where it says restricted and change to anyone with a link. Click on that part.
Thank you.
Then, yeah.
Okay, let's try that. Put another link in just for good measure. For everyone's patience. Oh, yay, I see people. Okay, awesome. So if you're new to Jamboard, I'm just going to go over a couple of basics on my shared screen. So you're going to first find your group. There are these arrows up at the top of the screen, and you'll find a post-it. It says, so for everyone's first name that starts with an A, B, or C, and you can scroll through to find that appropriate one. Then you'll complete the activities in your group, and there's a pen tool right here. You can get creative and select different colors if you're feeling it. And then if you have extra time, you can think of carrot or PFACs that you might want to share with your class. And you can use this right here, which is a sticky note. And you can type it in, So I'll just do hello. I'm gonna make it orange. Press cancel and it automatically goes to your page.
Angelina, I'm sorry, but you have to do it again and make us editors. We can all view it, but we can't get sticky notes. So if
Ooh,
you
all
go
right.
back to the change.
I'm learning.
And then the drop down, there you go.
All right, editors.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, let me know if that works. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and you all can work on it on your own screens.
And then folks just hit refresh or enter again where you put it in and it should work for you. It worked for me.
All right, I'm seeing folks doing things, so that's exciting. So we'll spend another 3 minutes doing this and then we'll come back together. Right, it's like so much harder doing it with a mouse than with a pencil. Oh, someone's even coloring the pea pod. Bonus points for you. Someone says carrots contribute to healthy eyesight. That's absolutely right. Someone says the less water you use cooking peas, the less vitamin C is lost. Cool, I didn't know that. Someone says, I love how these activities are truly geared for early childhood. Thank you. My mom was a first and second grade teacher and then an ECE assistant. So I, I give her props. I was reared in the classroom. All right, we'll spend about 1 more minute and then we'll come back together. Someone says carrots are a root vegetable, so they grow underneath the surface of the soil. They also grow in lots of cool colors. That's awesome. If you get a chance to grow carrots in your gardens that you're creating, it's so fun to watch kids pull up the carrot greens. I just like it's like a miracle. Like, wow, a carrot under the ground. It's a fabulous experience for them. Someone said carrots are made up of 88% water. Cool. Wow. All right, so we'll finish that up and come back together.
Yeah, I did want to share that we're so blessed that the WK Kellogg Foundation is what enabled AFSC to create these activities, to be able to provide this local food and be able to pay a fair price to the farmer. So they have been such a great partner, and we're going to be working with them for another couple of years, because our long-term goal is actually to get this local food on your menus regularly, so that the Healthy Food Campaign can help kids to get excited about eating vegetables, so that when they see the carrot or the peas on their plate at lunch, that they're going to eat it and not just go for the non-vegetable items on their plate. But we're hoping that these next couple of years, and happy to see what the state is doing and what Department of Health is doing and what you all are doing, we could really get this local food to our kids beyond the Healthy Food campaigns. So here's our website. If you want to download any of the activity booklets for the peas, tomatoes, carrots, turnips, you could try turnips. There are sweet turnips. You can download it there. And that's our Facebook page if you want to see pictures of how schools are incorporating it. Thank you again for letting Angelina and I be here today and share it with you. And feel free to contact us.
Thank you so much, Syra and Angelina. And we also will make sure that you guys have access. I think the links might already be embedded in some of the resource lists for the toolkits that they have shared here today. And I agree, it's so great to see these really geared towards our littlest learners, because it's not quite the same, right? Leaps and bounds at that early age. So we also just wanted real quickly to ask you all a question. So this was perfect. You got to see some of the offerings that are out there. We're working on modifying the Nuevo Thursdays curriculum, which you've heard us talk about. It's a cafeteria promotion curriculum, and Cooking with Kids has created companion curriculum to it. So there's things like plant coloring sheets, similar to what you saw here, but they're really geared currently. The lowest grade is kindergarten. So there's a set for kindergarten through 1, and we're working with one of our partners to modify them to be more appropriate for a preschool audience. And so we just wanted to do a quick poll with y'all, like what are some of the highest, like we really want stickers, we really want plant coloring pages, we want to work on letter recognition. What are some of those things that would be really easy for you to incorporate? And if you could put that in the chat, our centers, we'd appreciate that. We are planning on providing coloring pages, take-home recipes for families. There's simple tasting lessons that they're going to work to modify that you guys could do at the center. But if there's any other specific types of curriculum, I loved the matching. Another thing that we have in the Cooking with Kids curriculum, there is tracing and there's counting. So it's like count the melons, and there's like melons and onions, and you're trying to decipher between them. So there's some activities like that, but just want to throw it out there. We're customizing this curriculum for you. So now is the time to tell us what you would like. What is your dream curricula set?
Yeah, dream big. Coloring pages, stickers. Put it out there. You can put it in the chat or you can shout it out.
I'll say one, because there's always a lot of things for a preschool age, but we do have babies now 6 months to 3, finding more stuff that's age appropriate for them as well.
Great, thank you, Whitney. So younger little materials for younger little kids. That's good.
Great. Stickers and activities to do with the families. That's perfect. Okay.
Yeah, thank you everybody for sharing your ideas. Karen?
It'd be nice if they, after they've done the garden and whatever, is to have a growing kit that each child could take home that might have a pot and a little bit of soil and seeds, or, so they apply it at home with their family.
Oh, that's a good idea, Karen. Thank you. Yeah.
Perfect. Folks, well, we want to honor all of your time. Thank you for taking an hour to be with us. If you think of something, just shoot us an email. If you're like looking at things, you're like, oh, I really should have said that. I'd love that. Let us know, shoot us an email. Otherwise, we'll be working on modifying that curriculum. You'll hear from us and we'll be here to celebrate as those come out. We will share with you some of the more details on the curricula that we have for families during our next training. Thank you, Elizabeth. Matching shape recognition, perfect. So during the next training, we will share with you what those toolkits look like for families. And we're excited, again, to just kick this off with y'all. Appreciate your commitment to Farm to Preschool, especially we know it's summer and things are so very busy for all of you. So thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great afternoon. Thank you. Thank you, Syra and Angelina, for being with us today.
Oh, and don't forget to apply for the Golden Chili Award. You'll get it on Monday.
Right.
Don't forget. Thank you all.
Take care, everyone.